So part two. So as mentioned, I grew up with my grandparents. So my mom and my dad notified my grandparents and said, if I were to sleep over, they would babysit me or whatever to sleep in between, have me sleep in between because I was very much a scaredy cat. So my grandma would always tell me like, you're fine, whatever. There was one time where before my brother was born, my grandma was sleeping next to me on the sofa in our condo. And I told my grandma I hated being in that damn condo, and this happened in the one in Philadelphia in Ontario. So my grandma was like, my grandma had me in my mom's room and she was sleeping next to me. My grandpa at the time, I asked him, I was like, can you sleep next to me? And I was like, you can turn the TV on or whatever. So he was watching TV and my grandma lay next to me. Again, same incident happened. This was during the afternoon. And so I believe my parents was at work this time. So my grandma had walked to the restroom and my grandpa was downstairs. And I guess my grandma was going to go meet him downstairs, whatever the case may be. I was alone in the room. And when I was alone in the room, I felt someone crawl in the blanket with me. Like there was like a fitted sheet that was like attached to the bed, but I felt like as if someone came under and crawled into the bed with me. And I'm like, holy shit, here we go again. At this young age, I'm like, your mind is going crazy. Like, what if it's a monster going to come get you? And then I feel someone put their hands around me. Again, red flag. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, who is this? And I feel this long finger just caressing my face. I'm shaking so hard this time because I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. Not only that, at the same time, I felt like somebody was under the bed. And it felt like a child was under the bed, bumping. Like just, when you have a little kid or, like when you're underneath the bed, you're like crawling and then you're kind of like bump your back against the mattress. So I kept feeling like somebody was crawling under the bed. And I was like, oh my God, at the same time, this person has their hand around me and I feel somebody crawling under the bed. Somebody tells me to wake up. I try to wake up. I cannot wake up. Here I go again. Sleep paralysis. I am laying there on my side. I cannot move. The weirdest thing that I always tell my mom is I always hated sleeping next to the mirror. My back was faced towards the mirror. So this is where it came in. I think growing up, I always had my parents cover the mirror because I could not be comfortable sleeping towards the mirror. I feel someone rubbing their hand against my face, like caressing my face and telling me, shh. I'm lying there and I'm so confused because this is a voice that I've never heard before. I'm getting goosebumps right now as I'm talking about this story because I can see things, and I look over because I turn my head slightly and I'm like, holy crap, I'm in sleep paralysis. I can't move. And there was a man. It was like the thing on Insidious laying next to me, telling me to be quiet. I was screaming so hard and I could not move. And I was calling out for my grandma and my grandpa. Nobody was there to answer. So I close my eyes. I'm closing my eyes. I'm like closing them and I'm quite like basically tightening my eyes so hard. I'm like, please, like, don't hurt me. Don't do whatever. And I can feel the bumping underneath the bed go harder and harder. It's like I'm insane. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I finally wake up. I see the figure next to me telling me to be quiet. And it had red eyes. And then he disappeared. I near damn well flew off that bed because I kept feeling like somebody was underneath the bed bumping and moving it. And then I see a little kid zoom out the door, like the little boy from The Grudge. I ran out that door after it, called for my grandma and my grandpa, and they were like, what's wrong? And I was like, why did you leave me in the room? And my grandpa was like, I left the TV on. I was like, you left the TV on? But I was like, why? I was like, did you see the little boy? My grandma goes, what little boy? See, I have goosebumps right now thinking about it. And my grandma was like, there's a little boy. You're the only one here. And I was like, no, grandma, like there's a little boy. He was under the bed. I could have sworn I saw him and it was like, I feel him. And I was like, and there was a man with red eyes and he was telling me to be quiet. I was like, why did you guys leave me? I was like, I told you guys not to leave me. And my grandma was like, well, I was making my cup of chai. And my grandpa was like, I was hungry. I wanted to eat something too. So they were like trying to calm me down. But that was just a couple incidences that I had that I kind of wanted to share. And if you guys had something that you can relate to, let me know. Drop a comment below. You guys can always DM me. I'd love to hear everybody's experiences. These were my sleep paralysis experiences. And just so you know, if you guys ever suffer from sleep paralysis, sometimes we get them just because like we're in a negative headspace or we're surrounded by negative people. The great thing about that is you can actually wake yourself up. All you got to do is just, take deep breaths and just kind of snap yourself out of it, as hard as it sounds. You know what I mean? When it comes to lower type of energy and stuff, that's why a lot of, like, in the South, like, they use that paint, which is called haint blue, to scare away those type of spirits. If you guys want, like, a quick tip, you guys can always leave salt against your windowsills and your doors, which helps prevent them from coming in. But if that doesn't work, it's always great to put a cup of or a bowl of salt underneath your bed to absorb anything negative, from what I was told. So if you guys like the story, please let me know. It's a little creepy, so I just kind of wanted to share my experiences with you. I do have other stories that I do remember from childhood all the way to teenage years that I will share a lot more. So if that's what you guys want to hear, then that's what I will go ahead and put out. So hopefully you guys enjoy.